Okay, we'll just do a quick basic startup of your system. But the first you want to do is you want to hook up the subwoofer to the electrical outlet, and then you want to hook up the two rear satellite speakers to the electrical outlet. And make sure that all three of them are on. After that's done, then lastly, you plug in the soundbar to the electrical outlet. The first thing you want to do is just make sure that subwoofer and the two rear satellite speakers are hooked up to the electrical outlet. And then once that's done, subwoofer and the two rear speakers will automatically hook into the soundbar. There's nothing else for you to do. If you were to hook up the soundbar first, then you would have to manually hook up each of the other speakers. Believe me, you don't want to do that. The next thing you want to do is you want to hook up HDMI cable from the TV to the soundbar. Now on the TV set, you want to select the HDMI that says eARC out, okay? Then you plug that into the eARC HDMI input of the soundbar. This way the sound and video is going to be synced up with the soundbar and the TV set to display the correct output to the soundbar. And the easiest way to do it is to, go to settings on your TV. Now this is a Sony TV set, so. Next, you want to hook up your TV set. We'll go settings, okay. If you notice on the Sony, we got the channel inputs, and we're just going to go down to the external inputs, just to double check. And we go to the HDMI signal. Now we're going to go down to eARC, and we see that it's set up the standard format, which is what we want it to do. Then we go out of it. Then we want to go display and sound. Well, you can go to the sound here. We want to go to the audio output. And here you want to go down to the eARC, make sure that's in the automatic mode. Digital output, we want it on auto 1. Now every TV set is going to be different, so you're going to have to work with your TV set. But this is a Sony again. In the pass-through mode, we want an automatic. So you want to make sure the pass-through mode is on and not off. And then at that point, you're pretty much good to go. So whatever sound's coming through the TV set will be going into the soundbar. And then you can use the volume control on your TV set to control the soundbar. On top of your soundbar, you got the power button, and then this is the input button or the multi-function button, volume controls, and this turns off your microphone. So if you're not going to use Alexa or anything that's voice activated, you could turn this off if you have concerns about privacy. The second thing you want to do is you want to push on the multi-function button here, and what you want to do is that you want to make sure you select the correct input for this soundbar to connect to your speaker, and that's where you want to choose the DIN eARC. So just keep hitting that button until you get the DIN eARC display across the front. So you want to show the eARC just flash by. Now we know that the TV and the soundbar is hooked up. Okay, the next thing you want to do is you want to download the Smart app into your cell phone. This way you can set up the soundbar with the cell phone than trying to use this remote. This remote control is very aggravating to use to set it up because you have these dual function buttons here, and then you got to look through the menu on your soundbar there, and it's not easy. So just download the app. When you start to download the app, just make sure that your cell phone and the soundbar is hooked into the same wireless network. I don't know why you're going to have two different wireless networks in your house, but you may. So make sure you're on the same wireless network, and make sure that you have your cell phone set up so that wireless takes priority when you're inside your house, and then data is the backup if you lose your wireless connection, or just shut off the data settings on your cell phone. But you want to make sure you're on wireless when you're using this device. Or if you rather read a manual instead of relying on YouTube on setting up the soundbar to the SmartThings app, I provided a link for the full manual for the Samsung Q990C. I'd also recommend downloading this full manual because it contains a lot more information than the condensed manual that Samsung gives you with the soundbar. So once you fire up your SmartThings app, you want to just click on the Samsung soundbar here. Then you can see that it's It found the soundbar, and then it sees that it's connected via the DIN TV Arc system. So we're good to go. With this app, you could adjust volume pretty easy. You could set your adaptive sound, equalizer, and all that. A couple of things I want to point out here. Here you could determine the output of your subwoofer. More importantly is the equalizer. So you set your bass and treble controls on this right here. Now you want to set the bass to the point where you don't want no voices coming through the subwoofer. All you want to hear coming out of the subwoofer is, the sound meant for the subwoofer, and not, because sometimes if you overemphasize the bass, it's going to move the crossover point up higher, and it's going to cause voices to be located through the subwoofer, and that's not what you want to do. So you can balance it out using the bass controls. Now, what they don't tell you is that when you're using this app, you have to hit these 3 buttons on top here, and then you click on device settings. And then right here, audio sync. So if your audio is out of sync with your video, you could adjust it here. But more importantly, here's where we're going to do the channel levels. So here's how you set the amount of volume you get out of each of your surround mode. And here's what I would suggest. So on the channel level, here's where you set the levels of the volume of each individual speakers. The center is going to be bass level, and then you're going to set the other speakers in relation to the center channel. So the center channel should be like at the 0 level, and then you want to adjust the side front speakers, and that depends on how wide your room is. So if your room is very wide, you want to increase the level up so that you'll be able to bounce off the walls. If your room is more narrow, then you can bring it down. Now the top speakers on this Samsung system, you want to kind of boost it up. The top speakers is your Dolby Atmos, and that provides the overhead and then height of your speakers. So you want to boost it up because by default they're kind of low. If you level it with the same as the center channel, you'll be disappointed on the effects. And I do the same with the rears and then the rear sides. You're overemphasizing it so that you get a better surround effect. But you adjust these according to your preferences. And then with the rear speakers, you could set the rear speakers behind you, or you could leave it up in front, and then you choose where you're going to place the rear speakers. Well, the first thing we'll do is we're going to turn on the TV set, make sure that it's linked to the soundbar. Then we're going to push up on the woofer button and hold it up until we see display on the soundbar. The first time it's going to show that there's no TV remote hooked up. Then you release the button and then push it up again, hold it up until display comes up, and it shows you that Samsung TV remote. Release it, press it up again and hold it, and it's going to show you all remote. So that's your generic remote for any other TV besides Samsung, and that's the one you want to choose. Once that's done, we're going to test out the TV set remote, make sure it works. So we use the volume button to make sure it's working, so we can see it's working here. Next, we use the on and off button of the TV remote, and we see that the TV set is linked up to the soundbar, and it's going to turn the soundbar on and off by using the TV remote. So now we confirm that everything's working. Now once that's done, then you click on the volume button and make sure that works too. So that's a quick overview on how to set up Q990C. Very easy. I mean, it's self-explanatory, but I just want to point out a couple of things that I've run across when I set this thing up. Mainly, you want to be able to have the TV set speak to the soundbar. That's the main thing. And then you want to adjust the levels of the soundbar and the solid speakers to your liking, and where you're going to find this adjustment. Like I said, you want to use this app, because trying to use this remote control to set up your system is very tedious and aggravating, and this remote control is basically useless. So download the app. Once you set everything up in the smart app, it's automatically embedded into the soundbar, so you don't have to play around with it anymore. So I just want to bring that up. This concludes part 2 of my review on the Samsung Q990C soundbar. Part 3 is going to have my final summary and my overall impressions on the soundbar, and also how to update the software to the latest version. So I hope you found this video informative. Please click the like button. When you have a chance, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.